Championship week 21. This is your Sharp Squares podcast with the Ambassador David Eby and Greg Roth. This is yours truly, Eric Glazer, and this is going to be a fun show. 2 games. Let's first call out the elephant in the room. A couple of weeks ago, because I'm trying to not be superstitious anymore. I've always been a superstitious guy when it comes to sports. I called out at the end of the regular season how good we are during the playoffs, and we are now, Greg. Greg and I have been gambling together in different forms since high school. We're having our worst playoffs ever. We are 1-7. We are losing a significant amount of resources. And last week we were 1-3. 1-2 from our medal games. It is not going well. I come to you with no confidence and very little hope.
We're due.
But I think we're going to get a little bit of hope from some of the information. So the show, guys, is going to be, it's going to be a regular show, but I know, and we will dismiss those. That's one to pick. So there's 2 games. There's not a lot of people to take the side picks. So we did a really nice job, and hats off to everyone behind the scenes who did this with a lot of breakdowns of both games. You're going to get a lot of handicaps of both games, a lot of cool trends. But we're going to start with the segment we always start with. You're going to get the gold, the silver, the bronze, or the games that didn't medal at all. And to provide you that information, like he does reliably every championship week, is the still mourning Hurricane fan, but proud of his team, and everyone's favorite fellow degenerate, the Greg Roth.
Eric, thank you so much, Ambassador. Great to see you. It's great to be here with both of you for championship week. I'm hoping we have some championship level picks, and I think we're due to have them. There are 2 games. We don't always get a medal game championship week, as Eric alluded to, and it'll happen next week or in 2 weeks with the Super Bowl. A lot of side picks, prop picks, total picks, derivative picks. But as has been the case in the previous 2 playoff weeks, we do have one medal game of the 2. That game happens to be gold to boot. And that pick is the Denver Broncos. They're plus 5.5. They're hosting the New England Patriots. Steve Fezzik, Gianni the Greek, Chris Raybon, Gil Alexander, Sharper Square all picked Denver. Nobody picked New England. The second game, of course, the NFC Championship game. It is not a medal game. It barely registered in our system, but it did register a pick on the Seattle Seahawks. They're minus 2.5. They're hosting the Los Angeles Rams. RJ Bell, Ross Tucker, Marty Herney all pick Seattle. Stuckey does like the Rams. So you have the Broncos at plus 5.5 as gold. You have the Seattle basically, barely at 0 as a pick in our system. Eric, we do have to pick both games in the pool that we're in. Are we going to announce who we're picking in that NFC Championship game on Twitter? We can say for now it's Seattle. We may audible to the Rams, although I'm not sure what would be our justification to do so.
The game is basically a push. I mean, it is barely, you're right, it's barely Seattle. So what we're going to do, folks, if you want to stick around, is we're going to give you some handicapping trends. Then we're going to give you the handicap for the Broncos. And then our team is going to give you arguments for both, because the game was basically a push. We're going to give you the arguments why you should take Seattle, and we're going to give you the arguments why you should take the Rams, and you could decide for yourself. So if you're just looking to hear Greg's beautiful voice, you are now all dismissed. If you want to stick around, here we go. We're going to go, I don't know what the threesome version of yin and yang is, but we're going to yin, yang, and yang it through the trends and through these games. And we're going to start it off with the fastest handicap leadoff hitter in the league. The ambassador.
Hey. I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
No, it's good. You were fast, right? You were faster than me. And that's how I advertised you.
I was too quick, as I've often been called. But anyway,
That's what she said.
that's what she said. That's what they all said.
Family show. My nephew watches. Listens to this. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. First trend from the Action Network, Evan Abrams at Evan H. Abrams on Twitter/X. Since the 2003-2004 season, there's always been a rest advantage in conference championship week, with teams playing on Saturday and Sunday in the divisional round. Teams with a rest advantage are 27-17 straight up in the conference championship during that span. And teams with a rest advantage are also 21-7 straight up at home.
Okay, so we usually wouldn't give a straight up trend. I kept it in there because it's a nice partner or spouse, if you will, to this trend from Steve Makinen at VSiN. The outright winner has covered the point spread in 41 of the last 48 games. That's 85.4%. So if you match that up with Evan Abrams' stat, you may have something going.
I was going to say that trend about outright winners also true in the Super Bowl. I think we'll find out next week or in 2 weeks, and also in the college football playoff. Although this week Miami did cover despite losing the game. This trend from Action Network, Evan Abrams, teams that allowed fewer points per game during the regular season are 18-13 straight up and 19-12 against the spread. That's 61%. That dates back to 2010 and conference championship games. That favors both Denver and Seattle. I think that's compelling for our Seattle pick if we're on the fence there. This one as well. If the line closes up to +4 for the Broncos, and I think the line is anywhere from +4 to +5.5 right now, at least it's +5.5 in the pool, our pool, they would qualify for this stat. Home dogs of 4+ points are 9-0 against the spread over the last 50 years in the playoffs. That includes the Panthers, who of course we were on the wrong side of in the wild card round, who covered against the Rams.
More from Evan Abrams. The Patriots entered the season with 80-1 odds to win the Super Bowl. Now, in the last 50 years, they are the 11th team to reach a conference championship game with preseason odds of 80-1 or higher. Of the previous 10 teams, 7 lost in the conference championship game, 2 lost in the Super Bowl, and just 1, the Rams, who play in this stadium behind me, of 1999, went on to win it all at 151-1 odds in the preseason.
Incidentally, going back to the college football championship, I did have the Canes, so that cover did help me offset all of our NFL losses.
We appreciate your support.
Back to Steve Makinen at VSiN. Hosts favored by less than 7 points are 19-6 straight up and 17-8 ATS in their last 25 tries. Both smaller home favorites, 1-25, and Seattle's going to try to do that again on Sunday. Teams that won by 7 points or less in the divisional round, guys, are just 4-18 straight up and 9-13. That's just under 41% ATS in their last 22 road conference title game appearances, and that includes Buffalo's loss to Kansas City last season. So the Rams' 3-point win at Chicago last Sunday puts them in a position to challenge this trend or hopefully support our Seattle pick on Sunday.
All right, also from Steve Makinen, the Rams are the first team in the Super Bowl era to lose ATS in both the wild card round and the divisional round, but advanced to the conference championships. The Broncos and the Rams are both off an overtime win in the divisional round last week. Since 2015, teams off of overtime facing a team that was not are winning just 43.9% of games outright and only 46.2% of games ATS. This season, those teams went 10-18 straight up and 11-17 against the spread.
This next trend also from Steve Makinen at VSiN, looking specifically at the playoffs. When a team is off an overtime win in the playoffs and is playing a playoff game in the next round, they are 0-5 straight up and 1-4 against the spread since 2015, losing by an average of 15 points per game. Dating back to 2002, they're just 6-13 straight up in their next playoff game. Not only that, the Rams are also at a rest disadvantage versus the Seahawks playing on Sunday versus Saturday. Those teams on a rest disadvantage off OT when their opponent is also in the playoffs are 1-8 straight up and 3-6 against the spread, losing 6 in a row outright. That one win came back in 2006-07 when the Bears beat the Saints. Wow, that's like a hat trick of trends favoring Seattle there. A lot of these trends are favoring Seattle. I think I'm warming
to Seattle
on Seattle.
All right.
And I was very cold on Seattle when we started the show.
Last trend from Evan Abrams at Action Network. Historically, teams with indoor-outdoor dome stadiums have struggled on the road in outdoor conference championship games. In the last 50 years, guys, these dome-type teams are 0-15 straight up and 2-13 ATS in outdoor conference championship games, not counting the Cowboys. And I'm trying to figure out how is that relevant. Oh, because that Rams Charger Stadium is indoor-outdoor?
It's indoors. Right, yeah. The stadium's indoor. I mean, I think they have
it's open.
I guess you asked a question you don't know the answer to, but it can be. It's a dome. It's a dome stadium that can open.
What, Rams?
No, SoFi Stadium.
No, it doesn't open, but it's not completely enclosed all the way. Below the roof, there's a section where the wind can come in, and it's open. I don't know if that's what they mean by indoor.
So, but this trend though is counting the Rams in Seattle. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, but it's really, if there's a support, I mean, it helps us, but does it really help us? Anyway, take it for what it is, folks. Let's get into the first game. Patriots versus the Broncos. This is our gold game. We have the Broncos at 5.5. I think at the time that we are recording this, the line is down to 4.5. First part of this handicap is there's just a market overreaction to the quarterback switch. Multiple shows independently state, because they didn't talk to each other, that there's an overreaction to the Bo Nix Jarrett Stidham switch priced at 6 to 7 point downgrade. Sharps do not agree with this. Both Raybon and Fezzik say that Nix is graded closer to average than elite, and Stidham has shown league average efficiency in the limited sample size that we have seen of him. Gianni frames the bet quite cleanly. If you don't believe Stidham is a massive downgrade, you're betting Denver.
The second theme for this game is Sean Payton plus a backup quarterback is a feature, not a bug. Tucker, Raybon, Fezzik, and Deep Dive all highlight Payton's comfort designing offenses for backup quarterbacks, his willingness to lean into movement, screens, controlled reads, and early scripting. And Raybon explicitly notes that Denver was already pass heavy under Nix, and Payton will not hide Stidham. He'll lean into the structure. Deep Dive adds that no recent film on Stidham creates early game uncertainty for New England.
The third handicapping theme on this game, Denver's pass rush versus Drake May's ball security. Chris Raybon, Ross Tucker, Kramer, Steve Fezzik, and the Sports Gambling Podcast all noted Denver's elite pressure rate. Drake May's recent issue of sacks turning into turnovers. They noted the Patriots' offensive line, especially on the left side, is vulnerable. Raybon on Tucker specifically stressed the turnover-driven paths are repeatable, and Denver does not need offensive perfection to stay inside the number.
Final point here is the environment and the situation just favors the underdog. You got mile-high elevation, you got the cold, you got the playoff crowd. You also have the extra rest day for Denver that offsets the overtime game fatigue. And then you have the historical angles that we talked about in the trends. Home playoff dogs of 4+ points outperform expectations. And there's also, if you're looking for a derivative here, early game Denver energy could mean a strong first quarter, first half angle for you guys, although we didn't look at those lines. And for the total, There's definitely a lean in the handicap to over 42.5. I think it is a little higher than that as we're recording, but the premise is Denver can score early, and if the game should remain competitive, there's going to be a lot of offense moving into late into the second half.
There was a dissenting opinion on the Patriots in this game from Forward Progress. They believe that Denver's defensive metrics are inflated by an early soft schedule. They also see the Patriots' consistency covering spreads over the last 2 months. They have confidence in New England's ability to exploit blitz-heavy looks with short passing. Timestamps in this game: Action Network 4 minutes and 48 seconds, Sharper's Square 12 minutes 18 seconds, Even Money 19 minutes and 53 seconds, Dream Preview 10 minutes and 21 seconds, and Bet On It 5 minutes 10 seconds.
Okay, here we go. This game, of course, not meddled. Rams versus the Seahawks, -2.5. The pick barely is the Seahawks -2.5. We're going to spend some time why you should take the Seahawks, but then we're going to spend some time, think of it as an expanded dissenting opinion, why you should take the Rams. Should be interesting. Interesting content here. First, Seattle's physicality and trench edge. Ross Tucker and Marty Herney both emphasize that Seattle has a more physical defensive front, is better equipped to win early downs. It can control the line of scrimmage over 4 quarters. RJ Bell reinforces this by noting that Seattle's best games come when they dictate contact, and the Rams' offense is far less efficient when forced into long yardage situations. Supporting analysis comes from the GM shuffle and Even Money. Rams' offensive line fatigue late in the season has been beginning to show, and there's a decreased push in the run game compared to the mid-year peaks that the team had.
Seattle's defensive structure compresses the Rams' ceiling, allegedly. Multiple shows note that Seattle's defense prioritizes limiting explosive plays, forces offenses to sustain long drives. The Rams are described as at their best when tempo accelerates and more vulnerable when drives extend and space tightens. And finally, Tucker, RJ, and Deep Dive all reference that Seattle has been effective this season at keeping games within structure, and the Rams struggle more in compressed field situations. Number 3, Seattle thrives in lower variance, high leverage games. Seattle's described as comfortable in tight physical games, willing to win ugly, and less dependent on explosive scoring.
I wanted to see if he was ready for the double shift there, and kind of like in hockey, he was coming over to the bench. We're like, no, stay out there for one more. You did okay.
We do have some handicapping themes that support a case for the Los Angeles Rams. The first one, Rams offense as a unit has the highest ceiling on the field. Stuckey characterized the Rams as a team with true separation potential, the offense most capable of scoring in bunches. He describes the Rams offense as aggressive on early downs, comfortable pushing tempo, dangerous when rhythm builds. They've said that about young Eric Glazier as well. Seattle's defense, while solid, is noted as vulnerable. If the tempo accelerates, Rams will keep it up-tempo.
Second area and reason to take the Rams is the coaching aggression and willingness to press. McVay is described as one of the most aggressive play callers in the league, unlikely to sit on small leads, while Seattle's approach is viewed as more conservative and more reliant on the defense holding firm.
And finally, something regarding the total. The market signals a lean towards the over and the Rams game script. Over bettors consistently reference the Rams' ability to score regardless of the opponent and Seattle's difficulty fully suppressing elite offenses, which of course the Rams have. If the game opens up, the Rams are assumed to be responsible for the majority of the scoring.
So in summary of everything, I think if the game hinges on which identity you believe in. If you're a Seattle backer, you believe in the physicality, the structure, and the defensive control of the game. And if you believe in LA, it's about the tempo, the offensive ceiling, and the aggressive coaching. If you want to get this breakdown directly from the Sharps, Action Network covers the game at 39 minutes, 21 seconds. The GM Shuffle at 24 minutes, 30 seconds. Dream Preview, 18 minutes, 5 seconds. Even Money, 21 minutes, 14 seconds. Great job to the production team for putting all this content together. Appreciate you guys. If you are in the path of this massive winter storm, hitting the Midwest and the East Coasts. Please stay safe. And remember, none of us on the show are meteorologists, nor are we sharp. But this is your Sharp Squares podcast.
Good luck out there.